Welcome to all the Leo rising signs of the zodiac to your July astrology. Trust you're doing well on Cosmic Girl and thank you for being here. Well, your ruling planet, the sun, is still traversing in that hidden part of your natal chart, the 12th house in the zodiac sign of Cancer until the 22nd of July. So you've got 3 weeks of your chart rule of the sun doing its very best to encourage you to drop into your heart and what ticks your emotional boxes. Time to fill your own cup up. This is your primary focus with the sun in the natal 12th house of Cancer until the 22nd of July. Then your chart rule of the sun will be back in its zodiac sign of domicile, Leo, in your natal first house. So, working with the planets in transits, focusing on your chart rule of the sun, it would be really best served for you to just come to peace with being at peace with filling your own cup up with this transit until the 22nd of July. Great to really reserve and preserve your energy before the 22nd of July, because once your chart rule of the sun gets into that natal first house, it is a shedding of the skin, out with the emotional old and in with the emotional new. So the astrological weather for you as a Leo rising sign opening up the month of July is encouraging you to take a step back, take a beat. What is it that nourishes you, fills your heart and soul? What do you do in isolation that emotionally serves you well? Or what's hemorrhaging your emotions? Great time to identify where you can just scuff off the emotional dead wool, shake off all of the heavy emotional overcompensation that you so lovingly express to everyone. But how is that serving you? Well, this transit of your natal sun in the 12th house will help you see the forest for the trees on where you benefit emotionally and where you are overcompensating. Not a bad trait to have your heart in the right place, but how is it serving you? These questions are all up for grabs where you can contemplate where I can step it up that fills my needs and what doesn't before your chart rule of the sun gets into the natal first house of all systems go, which is what's indicated with the astrology for the month of July. So keeping that in your back pocket, your focus as a Leo rising sign is on emotional nourishment and nurturing. What it is that makes you feel emotionally secure and comfortable behind closed doors. How do you get your needs met? And can you fulfill them all on your own? And if you are overextending, that may be the key on why you may be feeling emotionally drained at this time. And the sun illuminates those things, people, places, or faces that are actually preventing you from feeling your absolute emotional best. Beautiful transit for therapy, quiet time, you doing you, whistle while you work. Take yourself out of the limelight and concentrate on your own personal needs before your chart ruler, the sun, ingresses into mighty Leo, your natal first house, its zodiac sign of domicile, where it functions very, very well. You get this transit once a year. So from now until July 2nd, you are on notice to get your ducks in a row because you're about to have a serious upgrade and an injection of energy regarding new starts, your identity, your health, your body, and your sense of self. Okay, so with all of that in mind, we are now going to talk about all the other planets and transits and the lunations, what these houses of these transits are happening in for you as a Leo rising sign. And let's just see the excitement of the astrology. There's a lot actually in the month of July. We've got 3 planets going into retrograde. Okay, so Mars is still transiting in your natal second house, which is Virgo, for the whole month of July. This is great for getting down to brass tacks financially, what works for you regarding supporting you with your physical needs, your tangible resources. But it's also a really good transit for being very, very critical about your money. So watch for hypervigilation, being too meticulous, a little bit nitpicky when it comes to sharing finances. It might be this kind of transit where you're a little reluctant to loosen up the purse strings with Mars in Virgo in your natal second house. But it is extremely beneficial for getting down to brass tacks with any financial documents or of an official nature with Mars in your natal second house of Virgo for the whole month of July. Jupiter's still in your natal 12th house, where your sun is currently transiting in the month of July, and Jupiter will be here all month. In fact, Jupiter's not leaving your natal 12th house of Cancer until the 30th of June 2026. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer functions very well in this zodiac sign, and it bodes well for you as a Leo rising sign, constantly pushing on that faith button when you need it in regards to how and why is it so necessary for me to feel emotionally good about things that I do in isolation. Jupiter's your constant companion on showing you where the opportunities are for nourishment and enjoyment behind closed doors and where things are dragging you down. Fabulous optimistic transit with Jupiter helping you out in your natal 12th house of Cancer, and we'll be here for the whole month. Okay, so now we're getting into the astrology with the planets in transits. So on the 4th of July, we have Venus conjunct Uranus, then Venus ingressing into Gemini, and Neptune beginning its retrograde in Aries. So the 4th of July is a busy day astrologically. If you have plans for the 4th of July, deep breaths and just roll with it. We're all in this cosmic soup together, but the 4th of July can be pretty, for better words, chaotic. So let's talk about these aspects individually. And before I do that, on the 4th of July, I'd like to say to my US listeners, happy 4th of July. I hope you have a wonderful day of celebration. Okay, so let's talk about Venus conjunct Uranus in your natal 10th house being Taurus. Wow, this is huge. That 10th house is a natal, is the part of the chart which is an angular part of your natal chart. So super important with planets transiting in the angles of our natal chart. And for you, you've had Venus here for a little while in your natal 10th house with people helping you of an official capacity, getting a job done. People are more compliant than usual. Forget scratching your head. Just take it when everyone's playing nice and helping you get over some sort of official or authoritative line. We also have Venus in that natal 10th house of Taurus assisting you with your career trajectory, your professional arena, and your public identity. So, a serious upgrade in your values, what is good enough for you and what isn't. Venus has been helping you see the forest for the trees, or where there's harmony and where things are a little old hat. But on the 4th of July, before Venus leaves your natal 10th house, that angular part of your natal chart, before she ingresses into your natal 11th of Gemini, she's conjuncting planet Uranus, the planet of liberation, freedom, and awakening. With this alignment of Venus conjuncting Uranus, it is a sudden breakthrough moment where you happily shut the door on something that has been laborious. Expect a nice completion of something official to do with your public identity or career on the 4th of July. After that conjunction, Venus then moves on into your natal 11th house, being Gemini, and the focus is now on your social setting. With Venus and Gemini, it is your friends that benefit from an uptick and joy. You get to celebrate and knock shoulders with people of your own volition and really champion those nearest and dear to you in a social setting when they finally get the goods and they start to enjoy their lives more. When things are flowing with your friends and your social connections, you benefit by being around people that are near and dear to you that really are inspirational, and you get the goods as well. Expect a lot of serendipitous moments with Venus from the 4th of July to the 30th of July regarding your friends, giving you very beneficial good news and enjoying your social life. Wonderful transit with Venus in Gemini. And then we have Neptune on the 4th of July beginning its retrograde in Aries. This is your natal ninth house, and it's retrograding at 2 degrees. Really not newsworthy. Neptune only ingressed into your natal ninth house on March 30. And it's only reached 2 degrees. So when it goes into a retrograde on the 4th of July, moving forward, this simply means anything regarding your spiritual beliefs and practices, religion, higher education, foreigners, foreign places, and travel. You get to see where you are ready to invest, or maybe you can have some second thoughts about the monetary payoff regarding injecting in opening up your mind, body, spirit, and soul with things that are larger than you. Not too much of a push, doesn't really bother me astrologically for you as a Leo rising sign when Neptune goes into a retrograde at 2 degrees in your natal ninth. On the 7th of July, however, we do have a newsworthy day with beautiful connections from Venus. We have Venus sextiling Saturn and retrograde Neptune. She's trining retrograde Pluto. And the cherry on top of the Sunday is Uranus ingressing into Gemini. So we have a very important astrological day on the 7th of July. And for all you astrology enthusiasts, this is juicy. So the 7th of July in general, with Venus making all these positive connections and sextiles and trines to the outer planets and Saturn, we are talking about flow. The 7th of July is a great day to organize an event, an outing, or a DM. Beautiful day for harmony. So now let's talk about Uranus ingressing into Gemini, your natal 11th house. I won't labor on this too much, but Uranus is going to be retrograding back into your natal 10th house of Taurus, and then it'll go direct in Taurus, and then it'll go back into your natal 11th house of Gemini next year, firmly planting in your natal 11th from April 2026 moving forward. So this is like a soft opening. It's like a peek into the future of what's going to be happening with Uranus transiting in Gemini, your natal 11th house. Let's get to it. Now, Uranus's job in astrology, because all the planets have a job, they have a nature and they express it with reckless abandonment because that's just who they are. They have an archetypal association and meaning. And Uranus's is liberation, freedom, awakening, and acute action. Uranus has a function of shock and awe. And going into your natal 11th house of Gemini, this is going to be a lively one when you witness friends and social circles go through tremendous change. That is oh so refreshing. You can liken this transit Leo rising as an upgrade with your social settings in any capacity. Out with the old, in with the new. And if you're happy to stay with the old, then you're going to witness some massive transformations with people that you knock shoulders with. If you're ready to integrate into new social settings, knock shoulders with different people, places, and faces, Uranus gives you the green light to do just that in the most shocking, almost serendipitous ways. Wonderful transit when your 11th house of joy and good spirit regarding beneficiaries, alliances, friends, aspirations, and your social circles getting a serious upgrade. Think of Uranus not being in the zodiac sign of Gemini for 84 years. So you can think of this transit as your 11th natal house has been sleeping and Uranus comes in and wakes it up. When you see movers and shakers in your social circles really kicking goals, you benefit and you get to hold their hand and go along for the ride Wonderful transit when Uranus ingresses into Gemini, your natal 11th house, from the 7th of July moving forward. On the 10th, we have our first lunation of the month, and it is a full moon in Capricorn at 18 degrees, lighting up your natal 6th house. Okay, the moon is in detriment in Capricorn. Not the best lunation, but what is good astrologically about this is that the moon sign has Jupiter there exalted. This bodes well for all lunations moving forward, at least until the 30th of June 2026, with jolly lucky Jupiter in the moon sign of Cancer. So the detriment component of the moon in Capricorn isn't so severe. We will take it. Now, we need to talk about where the ruler of the full moon is. It is Saturn currently transiting in your natal 9th house of travel, foreigners, foreign places, religion, faith and hope, higher education. And you have a full moon lighting up that natal 6th house connected to the 9th house. This can be a day on the 10th of July where you feel like you're ready to emotionally graduate from something that is almost a little bit too habitual, something that's been dragging the chain day in, day out regarding work and service and your health and your local habits, regarding your local environment and things that you do on the day to day. It's all old hat. And this full moon is when you emotionally go, that will do. Thank you very much. With Saturn in the 9th house of expansion, ruling this full moon in your natal 6th house, being Capricorn at 18 degrees, it indicates that you're ready for a serious upgrade, out with the old and in with the new. Something mundane has run its natural course, and you are finally ready to emotionally detach from something very anchoring. Can be an environment, something to do with a parent, or your physical body. You are done. On the 13th, another beautiful flowy day with the astrology. So if we work with planets in transits and you think when's a good day to plan anything, the other like the 7th of July, planned for the 13th of July, we've got beautiful aspects with the outer planets and Saturn. But on the 13th, the first thing that happens is Saturn now goes into retrograde in Aries, your natal 9th house, with retrograde Neptune. Again, I don't think this is much to be too concerned about astrologically. Saturn has only been in Aries for a little while in your 9th house. It's retrograding at 1 degrees, hasn't progressed very far. But what you can at least understand is what it's going to take. What elbow grease do you need in regards to getting something done when you want to engage with the world at large, whether it's a travel plan, education, a spiritual path, or dealing with something foreign or a foreigner. It's simply asking you, Saturn, when it's retrograding in your natal 9th house, what's it going to take to get yourself out there? Do you believe in it? Then you're going to have to work for it. That's as simple as it gets when Saturn retrogrades on the 13th of July, moving forward. So the other planetary alignments on this day, we have retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune, sextiling retrograde Pluto, Uranus and Gemini trining retrograde Pluto, and sextiling retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune. This is harmony and flow with outer planets and Saturn. This all leads to nothing's a push. So planning something on this date should go very, very well on the 13th of July with these beautiful flowing aspects. Okay, moving on to the 18th, we have Mercury, which has been transiting in your natal first house since the end of June, is now starting a retrograde. So from the 18th of July to August 11, Mercury is showing you the results of where you have been engaging your mind, your body, your finances, and your plans regarding your future. This is a fantastic transit for seeing the results of your labor where you have been communicating, moving, and shaking. You've been putting all this mental dexterity into something that changes your identity and your sense of self. And now, Mercury, when it's retrograde from the 18th, beginning at 15 degrees until it goes direct on August 11 at 4 degrees, you can come to peace or a deep understanding of where you hemorrhage your energy or where you benefit from putting in the hard yards with Mercury in the natal first house. Really good transit for seeing how those plans have unfolded, how the conversations have gone, how the paperwork has been received, and how your mind has been responding in kind to all your well laid plans. We also have on the 18th Mercury sextile Venus. Great day for planning a social outing. Everyone's up for a get together on the 18th of July. Enjoy it. Moving on to the 22nd of July. What a day. The sun is sextiling Uranus, indicating that anything can go when it comes to shocking yourself and shocking others. When you're ready to change, everyone else needs to catch up with you. When the sun in Leo sextiles Uranus in Gemini. Let's talk about the sun transit in your first house. The sun is in domicile, well positioned, very strong position for your chart ruler, the sun in Leo. So this bodes very well for your natal first house to get a serious upgrade. Are you ready to inject your heart and soul in a new identity, scuff off the old and bring in the new? The stars are aligning and showing you the way that, hey, you're a Leo rising sign. Enough of putting baby in the corner. It's your time to shine. An upgrade with your health, your body, your image, your sense of self should be on point. This is confidence, extra confidence. If you've been feeling like you've had an imposter syndrome for a couple of months, when the sun ingresses back into your natal first house of Leo, all of a sudden you wake up and know exactly who you are, what you want, where you're going, and what it's going to take to get there. So it's all systems go from the 22nd of July to August 22nd with your well laid plans. Dilly dallying is not on your radar. This is the time to execute and shine. Moving on to the 24th. Okay, what a day. Check this out for astrological aspects with planetary alignments. The Sun is trining retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune. The Sun is opposing retrograde Pluto. Venus is squaring Mars. And there's a new moon in Leo. What a day. All in all, not to exhaust all of these alignments, the 24th of July would be a day to roll with it. Not everything's going to go to plan and not everything's going to turn out roses, but it's not bad either. Simply put, the 24th of July is everything will work out in the end, no matter the hiccups kind of day. But the standout on the 24th of July is that new moon in your natal first house at 2 degrees. Interesting. Now, you've only just had the sun step into your natal first house on the 22nd, and the moon's only at 2 degrees. So you may be ready to fire on all cylinders and get things cracking, but the moon is a little bit more tempered than you. Why I say that is because the moon needs to feel into things. The moon needs to connect emotionally. The moon demands to understand where it's going to emotionally invest its time and efforts. So on the 24th of July, what you may experience here is a bit of a reality check regarding your well laid plans and what you want to bring to the table that improves the self. So quietly contemplate your future on the 24th of July with a new moon in Leo at 2 degrees. On the 30th of July to 25th of August, Venus will be transiting in Cancer, your natal 12th house, with Jupiter. The two benefics are traveling together. Really, really nice astrological combination. But it's happening in your natal 12th house where the sun, your chart ruler, was for some time. What you can look forward to here is trips away, learning Divinatory things behind closed doors, going to ashrams, planning day trips, taking time off work, wrapping up anything official. Really beautiful transit with Venus in Cancer with Jupiter from the 30th of July to August 25th. Might be time for you to, step away, um, enjoy things behind closed doors and in isolation, and indulge. Beautiful transit. The last day of the month, we have retrograde Mercury conjunct your chart ruler, the Sun. And this is in your natal first house. This is an important day, the 31st of July. Excuse me. I would put out there for the Leo rising signs, you are getting a financial bonus. You may also be getting a travel opportunity, or a serious DM is on the cards on the 31st of July. So, pretty important day. The last day of the month, we have retrograde Mercury conjunct your chart ruler, the Sun. And this is in your natal first. That's your astrology for the month. I hope you have a wonderful month, Leo rising signs. The astrology is really good. We'll take it as above, so below. If you have any questions, contact me at cosmicgirl101@protonmail.com. I'd love to work with you or help you out with any astrology inquiries if I'm able to. But your chart ruler, the Sun, is now in your first house. It just bodes well for stepping it up. That's like an upgrading time for you. So put your heart and soul in things that you love. The energy and the wind is at your back with the Sun in domicile in Leo in your natal first house. Enjoy it. I expect to hear some good feedback from the Leo risings with this transit. Till next time, stay cosmic.